going on, guys? Anth here. So today I have a new video for you, and it is going to be my breakdown of the Texas general election Senate race between Republican nominee and incumbent Senator John Cornyn and the likely Democrat nominee MJ Hegar. So John Cornyn, he is the incumbent U.S. Senator. He was first elected back in 2002. He was the Republican Senate Majority Whip from 2015 through 2019, and he was the chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee from 2007 through 2011. And MJ Hegar, she is the leading Democratic candidate for Senate. She's a retired United States Air Force major, and she was the nominee for Texas District 31 House seat in the 2018 midterms. So this is the Senate race back from 2014 between John Cornyn and Democratic nominee David Alamil, I believe his name is. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. John Cornyn won with 61.6% of the vote to David Alamil's 34.4%. Now, mind you, this is after 2012, which Texas still voted Mitt Romney. However, the margin was much closer than it was in 2008 and it was in 2004 previous. So this was after Texas showed signs of going to the left as well. So John Cornyn winning, he was very popular in 2014 as he is in 2020 as well. But John Cornyn won pretty much based off his popularity. This wasn't really so much among voter or party ID lines. John Cornyn has more of the Hispanic vote. He won more than Ted Cruz or President Trump did, for instance. John Cornyn's approval rating, which I alluded to a little bit, John Cornyn's approval is 44% to disapproval 25%. Again, using Morning Consult as my reference for polling averages. John Cornyn so far is the highest approved senator video I've done so far. This is the highest approval to disapproval that I've seen so far. I'm sure when I get to other races, I'll probably find senators whose approval ratings just as high or maybe like a notch below. But so far, this is the highest approval senator up in a competitive race that I've seen so far. So polling data that we have now, we don't have much, but we know the most recent poll from NBC was back in February, and Cornyn's beating Hegar 49-41. A Republican-leaned Beacon poll from November has Cornyn up 44-30. And an Emerson poll back from April 2019 had 29 and an MJ Hegar 12 with a lot of undecided vote. I was tempted just to throw that one out, but I wanted to put a third poll in here because I just feel like 3 is better than 2 because 3 gives you more of a general sense than just 2 does, because you can skew a poll or skew an average easily with 2 polls. But I feel like 3 is kind of a good number to have, 3 or 4. So with that, the polling average 40.7% for John Cornyn, MJ Hegar 27.7%. That's a 13% lead for John Cornyn. Now, obviously, I think there's a lot of undecided vote here, but then again, I think John Cornyn, he's not going to win like 63% of the vote. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, there's a lot of undecideds like to make up the rest of this margin, but it's going to be much closer than 13 points, I think. So endorsements for John Cornyn, he only has 3 notable ones right now, that being President Trump, U.S. Texas Senator Ted Cruz, and Lieutenant Governor of Texas Dan Patrick. As for MJ Carr, she has the endorsements of Kirsten Gillibrand, Senator from New York, Tammy Duckworth, Senator from Illinois, Dan Janagian, actor and 2020 congressional candidate for Texas 31 District, the same one that MJ Hegar ran for in 2018. And she also has the endorsement of Chelsea Handler, a comedian and activist. So my personal assessment of this race is John Cornyn is the favorite to win. His approval rating is in very good shape for re-election, as I mentioned, the highest I've seen in one of these videos I've done so far. Cornyn was first elected back in 2002. He's a longtime senator, longtime incumbent, and a red state. Texas has been trending more to the Democratic side in the last 10, 20 years or so, but Texas is still a Republican state. There's no Democratic senators, there's no Democratic governor, and a Democrat hasn't won at the presidential level yet. So you can't really say it's a blue state or a purple state until that happens. If Beto O'Rourke did beat Ted Cruz, I would say, okay, Texas is 100% a purple state. Nevertheless, Ted Cruz still hung on. John Cornyn is going to win by a bigger margin than Ted Cruz, so I think it's still a red state. John Cornyn, I think, is going to overperform President Trump. John Cornyn is probably more approved of and more well-liked in the state of Texas than President Trump. Although President Trump isn't unpopular in Texas, it's just that John Cornyn has a longer history in Texas and has a better approval rating. And John Cornyn also, he isn't as unpopular as Ted Cruz, and Hegar doesn't have the media or grassroots support that Beto O'Rourke had. Ted Cruz, pretty much everyone hated Ted Cruz in the media and even moderate like media sources, and so that really drove Beto O'Rourke's performance in 2018. He almost won. Beto O'Rourke he ran a very good campaign. He almost won. However, John Cornyn is far more popular than Ted Cruz. He appeals to Hispanics, Latinos more than Ted Cruz does, and he doesn't have the issue of running against Beto O'Rourke or one of the Castro brothers, Joaquin or Julian. Instead, he's running against MJ Hegar, who, from everything I hear, she's a good candidate, but she doesn't have the same amount of support that a Beto O'Rourke does or the Castro brother does. So my prediction for this race is I think John Cornyn will end up winning this Senate race. He will be reelected for another 6 years. He'll win with about 54% of the vote to MJ Hagar's 46%. I mean, this is still like relatively close, but Texas, it is starting to trend to the Democratic, not trend to the Democratic side, but trend more Democrat in recent elections. So a popular incumbent getting 54-46. This is still a good win for John Cornyn, but could be worrisome in 6 years, especially if he decides to retire or not run again. This could be a warning sign for the next Republican nominee, maybe. But I think 8 point margin is probably about what it's going to be now. In that likely, not safe, but likely margin, I'd say. Like something where Republicans pretty much have it in the bag, but still something they should keep an eye on just in case. I think that's what Texas is right now. So that's my video for the Texas Senate race. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you like the video and leave a comment below telling me what you thought, what you think is going to happen in this race, and also any future video ideas coming up. So this is the Texas Senate race. A few videos I've skewed up is I plan on doing New Mexico, New Hampshire, Montana, and I am planning on getting to the Tennessee Republican Senate primary as well. I will get to that one. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.